An apartment will be provided for you and your family in East Greston. Expect a Class 8 dwelling. Moving up in the world, that's pretty ritzy. Glory to Arstotzka. Alright. Gresden border checkpoint opens at last. After 6 long years, can the Ministry of Admissions keep us safe? Families reuniting, weather, yada yada. Alright. Okay, so finally we got some time alone without the game's title menu music blasting. Let me just go into my settings here. And turn this off. Excellent. So, like I said, I've been playing this game kind of on and off since it first came out in 2013. So hopefully I can be able to play this game and talk at the same time. Hopefully it's enough of a muscle memory at this point that I can do that. So our first objective for the first day is I think it's just to deny any foreigners and let in only our Sotskins. Deny everyone else. Stamp passport, entry visa, and return documents entry. Entry is restricted to our Stotskin citizens only. Deny all foreigners. Pretty basic. So yeah, this will actually probably be a great introduction because this is super easy for me. At least something this basic. I don't have any keyboard shortcuts yet, so this will also be a little slow. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Papers, Please came out in 2013, which feels like forever ago. I first played this game, I think it was in 2012 when I was in my final year of high school. And of course the game wasn't out then. I was playing like a demo of this game, and I think the demo was the first in-game week. And I remember playing that, you know, religiously. Like I would play it like over and over and over again. Which is probably why the first week will be kind of a breeze for me. Oh, okay. Ominous. But yeah, to give people like an idea of what like the indie game scene was like around that time, in 2008, the biggest indie games to come out were Braid and Spelunky. And both those games actually didn't even come out on Steam. They were on Xbox Live Arcade. And I remember for years after those games came out, people were still citing like those two games as like perfect examples of well-designed, well-made indie titles. Which is kind of insane thinking back on it. I think there were some indie games that came out in 2009, but like nothing springs to my mind. And in 2010, you had Limbo, Super Meat Boy, and Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which are still like really popular. I still see Limbo and Amnesia streamed on occasions. And of course, the studio that designed Amnesia has gone on to do a lot of big games. And in 2011, you had Bastion by Supergiant Games, which they've made tons of great games now. And The Binding of Isaac. And of course, Minecraft. Like the beta release of Minecraft came out in 2011. It was also pretty big. So really, like, prior to 2012, I would say, you didn't really have this, like, big, robust... Oh, we're done. That was fast. So if you don't know how this game works, basically, yeah, you just stamp passports based on whatever instructions you get for the day. I think the Steam game store describes this as like a document thriller, which is a great description. And then after every day, you're supposed to manage your expenses because you earn money doing your job. And you can see over here, you can see the condition of your whole family. Your wife's fine, son's fine, mother-in-law's fine, and uncle is okay. So if you do particularly poorly, if you don't make enough money to pay your rent and food and heat, they die. And if you keep doing bad enough, I think you get fired, or you just run out of resources and you yourself die. So yeah. Dresden checkpoint a success. Entry restrictions to relax and admit foreigners. Analysts upbeat, increased trade and cooperation predicted. 1982. But yeah, I think when in 2012 Steam Greenlight came out, and Steam as like a platform for like indie games really blew up. So I could see why that would, why in 2012 would be kind of a turning point year. From today forward, foreigners with a valid passport are permitted to enter. Your booth's inspection hardware is now installed. Check all passport information carefully for discrepancies. Okay. Okay. So you have this tool that you use to like highlight discrepancies. I am probably never going to use this tool because I don't need to, actually, right at the start. Later on in the game, you'll actually get to a point where you have to highlight discrepancies in order to deny them. But at this point, early in the game, you can just deny them and they don't ask any questions, and you don't get penalized for it. So if you can visually see it, you can just hit the deny stamp, send them on their way. It saves time, actually. But yeah, let's start. So yeah, if anyone doesn't know, Lucas Pope was the person who actually designed this this game. Don't they need a entry ticket? Nope. So yeah, just everything has to be current. Oh, I think my game froze up for just a second. Don't want my tea to get cold. Let's see here. That's odd because the game was running pretty smooth. I wonder why I did that. Maybe a bug? Probably not. There we go, we're back. Expired. By only a few days. Oh, I should say that if you actually get it wrong, it's not that you just don't make money, you actually get penalized for it. So I think it's after 2 mistakes. After 2 mistakes, you get penalized money, and the money that you get penalized for stacks. So it gets from like $5 to $10, $15, etc., etc. But yeah, like I said, the game's designed by Lucas Pope, who actually used to work for Naughty Dog. What? Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, he actually used to work for Naughty Dog on the Uncharted series. And I think he left working for them. Oh, crap. We got a runner. Yeah. Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. That'll happen. The day will get cut short by a terrorist attack occasionally. They're actually really difficult days because they cut your money-making potential by a lot. They're not good days. Not good days. Terrorist strike at Dresden. Collection agitator suspected. Checkpoint lockdown. More guards. More scrutiny. More work. That's a lot more guards. Entry for non-citizens is now regulated. All foreigners require a valid entry ticket. So yeah, now all foreigners have an entry ticket that they give you, which has more information that you have to cross-reference with the passport. And if you're not familiar with the gameplay loop of Papers, Please, that's pretty much all of what you do is just cross-reference documents over and over again. Yeah. But yeah, Lucas Pope eventually left working for Naughty Dog and Uncharted, and he eventually ballot on. Oh, okay, yeah, the day's correct. Yeah, and he eventually left to go work sort of independently. He moved to Japan, actually, to live with his wife, who is also an independent games developer. And during his travels between the United States, Japan, and other parts of Asia, got another one of these. Okay. Yeah, during his travels, he got the idea of like making a game around passports and like border security, because I guess he thought it was a tense situation that had like a lot of suspense that could make a good game setting. The setting for this game, is actually based on an earlier web-based indie game that Pope made called the Republian Times, which is actually a Republia, a country in the in-game universe. And valid on 11/30. It's 11/25. You need to come back on your right date. Of course, the game is also based off of like because I mean we're operating in an area called East Dresden, and there's a West Dresden. It's clearly based off of invalid issuing city. It's clearly based off of the Cold War and East and West Berlin. Oh, I'm gonna have to use this. I do need a passport. Okay. Happens sometimes, I guess. But yeah, so clearly the inspirations on like Cold War history are pretty strong. I think Pope actually said, he said something along the lines of like, I was naturally attracted to Orwellian communist bureaucracy, which is fair. I can relate to that. Hard same. Passport's expired, miss. But yeah, I think work on this game, like Popa said, he only really started working on the game late 2012. Which is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive turnaround. And he like marketed the game on like forums, just kind of like doing his own legwork. He released gender is invalid. I'm going to assume your gender and declare invalid. And he funded the whole thing, of course, as his own personal finances. He had no publisher or anything like that. Yeah, and of course, like I said, he released a free demo, which was the first week of the game. And like I said, I played that a lot, and that's how I got into it. But lots of people on YouTube also started playing that demo too, basically giving him free advertisement. And then he submitted it to Steam Greenlight, and because of the publicity that he got on YouTube, the demo, forums, stuff like that, it got voted through Steam Greenlight and onto the Steam store page in just a few days. So it's pretty hard to imagine Papers, Please, in my opinion, having the same success that it did. If it came out now, then it did like, oh, I got one wrong. Invalid issuing city. So see, it's the first one, so you don't actually get a financial penalty, but if I get like another one, oops, if I get another one wrong, let's see. There we go. Yeah, see, last warning. So you get 2 warnings, and then you get 1 penalty after that. Yeah. So it was a pretty good day. I mean, we had 2 mistakes, but they didn't penalize us. So not so bad. Let's take our nap, read the morning paper. Checkpoint expansion postponed. Black market activity explodes. Government blames lax immigration control. But yeah, when this game first came out, you could still actually get it for $10. The price really hasn't changed with its success. But it's probably the game that got me really into indie games and smaller releases, both on and off Steam. So we have stricter credentials. Aristotelian citizens have to show an ID card, and foreigners must have an entry permit. Entry tickets are no longer sufficient. We're changing up our immigration documents every day, it seems. So they give you a new chapter detailing document features, but I've basically already memorized this through years of playing. So there's also an audio transcript that you get to make sure the people coming in are saying things that are correct with their documents. But yeah, I mean, that's basically all the history I have of the game and its development and my own personal history with it. The purpose of your trip, transiting through Ostotska, 2 days. That's basically all the history and experience I have with it. So I think we could probably just get into talking a little bit about passport history. See, he said, I'm transiting elsewhere, but his entry permit says I'm visiting someone. Gotta deny him. Gotta deny him. Entry tickets are no longer accepted. Get a permit. Bullshit. Communist-style bureaucracy. Transiting elsewhere, a couple days. Oh, sex says F. So yeah, I did like a couple of things for reading. Visiting your son, 6 months. So yeah, we can basically choose to let her in or not. I have no penalties, so sure. And she gave me a little token of appreciation, literally. So yeah, this game's full of little like moral choices and dilemmas that you can do. Let's see here. But yeah, I read a couple of histories for this, and their names don't match. The first one that I read was actually more of like a legal history on the like invention of passports. Oh, look at this thing. It's like a child scribbled it up with like crayon. Cobristan is not a real country. Let's see what we got here. Date of births don't match. But yeah, the actual first history I read for this was, like I said, a legal history on passports, and it was kind of interesting. It like just basically furthered the argument that like the whole rule of passports is trying to set up, I suppose you could say, the distinction between, you know, foreigners and and citizens. Larian. Issuing city has like one letter off. Yeah, basically passports make the difference between nationals and non-nationals clear, and passports are obviously just tools for tracking people's movement. Oh my god, I hate when they do this. Like, they have their passport, but they don't give it to me right away. And then I have to ask them for it. I sound like a disgruntled clerk. But yeah, you know, obviously that's kind of that idea is nothing new, and it sounds like really obvious, but I think the implications of it are pretty important. That like the emergence of passports as a means of controlling people's movements is just kind of like ultimately tied to the formation of states and borders and boundaries. Yeah. Unfortunately, this first book I read didn't really touch on a lot of the Cold War era. It kind of skipped over a lot of that, unfortunately. Which is a shame. It deals mostly with interwar. Like early 20th century history, which is fine. I actually didn't find very much on like Cold War Europe passport history. Yeah, this looks good. Here for work. Last person. So far, so good. Oh yeah, and these little tokens get placed over here. Neat. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested, the book that I'm talking about was John Torpy's The Invention of the Passport. It's pretty recent, actually. Let's see what the newspaper has to say. Okay, Republican track star wanted for murder. Senseless Straws, whereabouts unknown. Girlfriend killed in jealous rage. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I think I missed chat. Yeah. Planning on going for a couple hours, I'd say. That's what I'm planning on, at least. A couple hours. A couple hours more. Maybe 2 or 3 more. We'll see. And yeah, I'm pretty by the books when I usually play this. Except for, I would say, except for like my first playthrough. First couple playthroughs were pretty rough. This playthrough, I'm probably going to like purposely mess up some things. Like let people through when I'm not supposed to, just cause. I'm not going for a perfect run. Might as well. I might as well. Any new rules? Oh, okay, so you're now authorized to detain suspicious individuals. Interrogate discrepancies to enable detention option. Okay. So again, usually when I'm presented with the option to detain someone, I usually just skip it. Because it takes time. Like, it takes time for these guards to come down, grab someone, and walk them away. So I usually ignore that. And then I just deny them. It's faster. Yeah. And when I first played this game, and even when I still play it now, I still think about this game in terms of like what's efficient. Because there's this like timer in the bottom left. So I think always about like, oh, how many people could I process in like an in-game hour? Usually it's like 2 or 3, depending. Let's see. Yeah, stream settings are looking good so far. Everything looks pretty nice and stable. It's good to see. Good to see. I'll try and check chat as often as I can. But usually in between days is the best time for me because I'm not flooded with documents. Oh, let's see here. Transit for 2 weeks. Numbers don't match. And I could detain you because there are pretty obvious forgeries or those documents aren't meant to go together, but it saves time if I don't. Invalid dates of birth. I also think that my attitude of like, oh, you know, I'm going to do what's good for me by essentially not doing my job 100% correctly because it's better for me is very like East German thinking. Oh, okay, so here's Vince Lestrade. He's a wanted criminal, technically, so we're not supposed to let him in. So we can actually, I think, do this. So I'm gonna let him through. I don't know, just cause. Let's just see what happens. I don't think I ever let him through. Usually, so let's let him through and see what happens. Just passing through. Okay, buddy, chill. Let's see here. couple weeks. Everything looks good. Name looks correct. Good to go. Let's see here. Okay. No passport again. Oh my god. Why do you do this to me? Just give me your passport, please. I don't ask for much. Just have all your papers ready when you come here. But yeah, I mean, this first history that I read, finally free of antegri and tyranny. Okay. Yeah, you do you. Please be kind to my wife, she has just left. Okay. Let's check your wife's papers. Surely there wouldn't be a discrepancy. There's no entry permit. I'm assuming you don't have one. Alright, here you go. And we got a little token. Just transiting through a couple days. Herwig Kleiner. Well, you're all good, buddy. But yeah, one thing that really interests me about this like Torpe history that I read was like his talk about West and East Germany. Invalid issuing city. I also have memorized every issuing city. Every passport has... Every country has at least 3 issuing cities. I think maximum 3. And I have memorized all of them. Sex says F. So F to you. Because I've played this game way too much. But yeah, I think the part that interests me most about this book was his talks about names don't match. Was his talking about East and West Germany, where he talked about how like West German attempts to like solidify passports was more of an effort to like block communists from immigrating to and from East Germany, which I thought was interesting. Only 2 weeks visiting, yeah. Yeah, that's correct. And I mean, it's a fine book, but it's kind of like dull legal history. It was great for background, but you know, I don't think it makes a very fun and interesting or novel book. You know, by comparison, I think the second one that I read was more interesting. Photos don't match. Whew. I think that one counted towards our money. Oh, this is what I've been waiting for. Okay, so yeah, this game gives you booth upgrades. So you can spend money to upgrade your inspection booth. The first upgrade you get is you can hit spacebar to toggle the inspection mode, which you know I don't really use very much. but I'm gonna get it anyways. There's another one later that allows you to hit the tab key to swing open the stamps, which I love that one. That one's just really satisfying. But we'll get the spacebar upgrade. We might as well. Jobs few, becoming fewer. Immigrants taking jobs from locals. Dinsler's Drad spotted in our Statska. Yeah, how's chat going? Pretty fine. Okay, so this is when things get a little more challenging. Because there's this labor concern, the Ministry of Labor has instituted a special program to control immigrant labor. Travelers entering for work require a valid work pass. So, yeah, we have another document that we have to worry about managing. Upgrades, yeah. I love upgrades. Upgrades in this game are pretty good usually. Like I said, I really want the one that I can hit the tab key to open this thing. It's really good. You also can upgrade your family's house. So you can go from like a class 8 dwelling, I think, to a class like 7 dwelling and work your way up. And it does nothing except cost you more money. It's essentially a way for, like, if you're doing really well, it forces you to kind of burn your money rather than just like sit on it. I'll probably upgrade the dwellings just because it's the closest this game has to like a hard mode. Let's see here. I think we can probably get started. Let's go. Here for work. Let's do this first one closely, just so I can make sure. 90 days. Hannah Walton. Everything matches. You also have to verify. Not only are you cross-referencing the information on all the documents, the worker pass itself has a stamp that can be like forged and incorrect. Again, I think I've pretty much memorized what all of the emblems look like. Please help me. A man named Derry Ludum promised me and my sisters good work in Arstotzka. I do not trust him. I am afraid he will take my passport and force me visiting friends for 1 month. Force me to work at a brothel. He is in line today. Please do something. Okay. This says male. So I think she wants me to, you know, refuse him. Which I think we can do. Here for work. 6 months. Let's see here. Pavel is just... Dude, this looks good. Here you go, buddy. I also like how her work visa says food service, and she gives me this like brothel thing. Buddy, you need a entry permit. Sorry. So we're looking out for a guy named Dari Ludum. Your entry permit is expired. Hate to tell you. Or Danny? I can't tell if that's supposed to be an... Probably an N. God, everyone's trying to advertise this fucking brothel to me. Alright, we're gonna deny him. And I'm probably gonna get a warning for that. Yeah. Please give me your passport. They took it away. Okie. I stamped it twice, just to be sure. Just to be extra sure. Sounds like real life, rip. Yeah. None of these are expired. Yeah, okay, looks good. Transiting, just a couple days. Ah, crap. That's not good. Day was cut short by a terrorist attack again. I think my web camera might have blocked that. But basically, I let in someone from Kolechia, and then they walked over to the border security guards, and they blew themselves up and the guards up. Excellent. I love that. I love when that happens. That's my day short. Double stamp for extra FU energy. Yeah. Bring your passport next time. Well, let's sleep the day off. Another attack at the Dresden checkpoint. Suicide bomber slips through. Oh. That's not good. Let's see here. To facilitate more thorough inspections, a search scanner system has been installed in your booth. Kalechian extremists are suspected in yesterday's bombing. Search all Kalechians before approving their entry. So now we have to... So not only are we allowed to search for weapons and contraband, but we actually have to search every Kalechian that comes over the border. So I guess we'll see how that goes. It's probably going to slow me down quite a lot, but you know, at that point, you know, if I search them and find contraband or weapons, I might as well just detain them. So yeah, let's get started, see how the day goes. Why not? Let me check. How's this stream quality going? It's been about an hour. Frame rate looks like it's dipping maybe a little bit, but it's otherwise alright. I had a weird thing where it seemed like the frame rate wouldn't get very high when I was pre-stream diagnostic checks. It seems good now. Or it seems like it's been good while the stream's been running. What I like to see. Is good? Alright. Good to hear. Hold on 1 second. I gotta check something. Alright, sorry about that, I'm back. There's someone standing outside of like my apartment, like catching shit being thrown from like the balcony. I have no idea what's going on. I heard like this weird thump. With something hitting the ground. Hopefully things are okay, and hopefully nothing bounces and hits my window. Or my AC, or anything like that. Never know what to expect. Anyways, let's get back to the game. So yeah, all collections have to be searched, so let's just get that out of the way right now. Here for a visit. No contraband. You're all good. Domestic bliss. Yeah, I don't know if it's a domestic dispute or I don't know, they're playing extreme catch. No idea. Alright, do you have any contraband on you? No. Man, how boring. I'm sure this isn't a violation of people's human rights. But yeah, the second book that I ended up reading on like the history of passports was Craig Robertson's The Passport in America, which, you know, I was really interested in it and I really enjoyed reading it because it's kind of like a history of passports as a history of technology and communications. And of course, that's like my jam. Well, why would you assume that? Why would you assume the gender's invalid? How rude. Everything else about this document seems good. Let's just see if he actually is like smuggling. There you go. So I guess we'll finally see what happens when they get detained. There you have it. Social distance catch. Yeah, that's what it might be. She was wearing a mask too, so I have no idea. Visiting friends for 1 month. But yeah, I really like this book, and basically because it's like a history of passports as a history of technology or communications. But all right, all collections must be search. God, I hope he doesn't blow anyone up. I'm so glad I don't have to work a job where that thought has to cross my mind. Hope no one blows up. I mean, this looks good. But yeah, there's like this really funny anecdote in the beginning of this book. That had me kind of laughing. Basically, there's an article in the New York Times from 1923, and it was about like a Danish man immigrating to, or at least like traveling to Germany. And when he arrived, work 1 month. This is 30 days. Okay. Well, you got weapon and contrabands. So we're going to detain you. But yeah, when he arrived to Germany, he was wearing a mustache. And when he got to Germany, he shaved it off. But he encountered a problem when he was trying to immigrate back into Denmark, because his passport photo had him with the mustache. So they didn't think he was the same person. So they didn't let him in. He had to wait to grow his mustache back. Apparently, without the mustache, he looked like a famous con artist too. And yeah, he just stayed. Didn't even ask for assistance from like a consul or anything. Just waited. Oh, thanks for the easy one. You're gonna have to make me do this. No, she's probably gonna be the last one. Everything else matches. Oh my god. It's like a giant scimitar, just like taped to your back. I don't know who does that. Doing pretty good. We got $130 in the bank. Day 7. Oh my god, we're only a week through this. Kalechian leader files complaint. Claims unprovoked border searches violate rights. Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. Kalechians have filed a formal complaint. A diplomat will arrive today for high-level discussions. Automatic searches of Kalechian citizens are no longer authorized. Okay, we got another document to worry about. This time, we have to worry about diplomats. Diplomats require only a passport and valid diplomatic authorization to enter. Refer to the rulebook for updated document information. Another new document. Let's see. There it is. So diplomatic authorization. Essentially, I think it carries the same information as a passport, but it also has a seal attached to it. And each country has their own unique seals that, you know, I think I have memorized. From what I remember, at least. And each country has 2. So, let's get started. I'm going to assume you're the Kalechian diplomat that was requested. How fortunate she was able to be at the front of the line. Coming to live with my wife. I did deny her because she's gay. I denied her because the passport information didn't match. Entry tickets aren't allowed. You need an entry permit. My guy is getting really sick of this. Just like, don't ever come back again. I don't know, I like seeing how he's gonna try and... Names don't match. How he's gonna try and like weasel his way into the border. Oh yeah. So these guys are basically like a terrorist group trying to bring down the government, and they will like slip you instructions to be like, you know, do these things to help our revolution. And you can ignore them or help them. You know, I'm going to be ignoring their demands though, their instructions. Because Shangiro, if you actually follow them, I did their endings before, and if you actually follow them, the game actually ends earlier than it would for the other endings. So I'm going to ignore them. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Drex Corman. So I think this person you're supposed to deny and not allow in, but I'm just going to let him in. They can't tell me what to do. Passport's expired. But yeah, a big theme of like the second history book that I ended up reading was basically like travelers are now having like an external source tell them that their identity is wrong or incorrect, which is, you know, a new thing for people. You know, for that Dane who shaved his mustache, I don't think he ever was told before that you're not who you say you are. I mean, nowadays, like, identity theft and, like, securing your identity is an everyday thing, but, you know, back then, I don't think it was as prevalent. Certainly, it was not common to have documents carried around to verify your identity. Passports are some of like the earliest examples of that, really. You said transit, passport says something else. If you actually call them out on that, like if you're like, oh, you said transiting, but your passport, your entry permit says visiting, they'll just be like, oh yeah, sorry, I misspoke. And then you have to let them through. So I just deny them. You know, you misspeak, get denied. I don't have time to waste. Sorry. I am a emotionless passport stamping machine, and I will take no human error unless I deem it necessary. There was a time when your identity was who your dad was. Yeah, like who your parents were. And they basically talk about that. They're like, passports ended up, last names are different. Passports ended up basically replacing like local knowledge. Before passports, you basically had to have like your word. Like your word was pretty much all you could go off of. How you look was how you would go off of. Like if there was a government official that inspected you, they wouldn't be inspecting like any kind of paper or document. They would just be like inspecting how you look and what you say and like who you know. That was pretty much it. And the earliest forms of passports were actually more like, they kind of reflected this because they were more like letters. Katrina Custos looks good to me. They were basically like letters from like one government official to the other, like promising the traveler or trying to guarantee the traveler safe passage via an entry permit. Kind of like the entry permits, actually. Oh my god. Where's your passport? I don't even get paid for this guy. Because they didn't get him in the time limit. Wasting my time. Oh yeah. Booth upgrade available. Tab key to toggle stamp bar. Yes! Get it. Now I can mash that tab button. Top level collection exposed as Aristotle's spy. Missing from post, presumed dead. Oh. That might have been the person we let in. Might have been. Might have been. The Ministry of Admission has offered its services as liaison. Expect a possible drop later today. Okay. Oh, hello. Are you a spy? I get a small bonus when you detain people. More you detain, more they give me for processing. But this is not fair, right? You should get something too. So I fix this problem. I give you 5 credits from my bonus for every 2 people you detain. Sounds like a good deal to me. I give money to you after I get paid. So yeah, this is supposed to put like another wrinkle in your like processing of how you are going to deal with people. So previously I was just kind of, you know, processing people fast, deciding whether I pass them or deny them, and just not caring about whether they were criminals that I could detain or not. So if I do detain them, I get paid a little bonus for every 2 people I detain. But I think I get paid more for every individual that I process. So I've pretty much always ruled this as I just ignore the requests, honestly, and I just keep doing what I'm doing. Unless the game forces me to detain someone, and then I usually look for the opportunity to detain another person, because then I actually get paid. If I detain only one person, I don't get anything. If I detain 2 people, I get a cut of the bonus. Yeah. So that's probably what I'll do. Let's see here. No other rule changes. Same thing. Apparently there's going to be a drop today, whatever that means. We'll see. But yeah, now I can finally hit the tab button. And now I can stamp to my heart's content. But yeah, like I said, I think later in the game you actually have to explain to people why they are being denied and why they are being arrested. So once I have to do that, once I have to go through the whole process of actually explaining to someone why they're going to be denied, what? Okay, so if someone asks for the documents, give them the one on the right. Right? I think it's the one on the right. Yeah. Yeah. You're expired. Okay, hopefully I can remember to do that. One on the right. The one on the right, okay. Yes. Oh, and he's giving me a bribe, too. So yeah, he's definitely the sketchy one. I think I'll give you the one on the right, then. And I'll keep that little bribe. You need a ID card, buddy. Okay, I think I did the right thing. Oh, here's Drex Corman. So I'm assuming actually this is an alias used by like the terrorists, but all their documents are valid. Yeah, sure, I guess. Here. Huh? War. What, this is like your recruiting document? Do not lose this. What the fuck? I'm gonna lose this. Sorry, what did you say? I wasn't listening. I had to work 1 month. Your things are not matching. But yeah. You know, so far the game's going okay. I remember, I think most of the stuff that happens in the story. Tank. Looks like everything else looks to be in order. I feel like it's been a while since I let someone through. Photo doesn't match. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that like for much of the 19th century, people's like knowledge of stuff was like more important than identification. No. Probably incorrect. Yeah, like you would use like a local knowledge drawn on like your knowledge of character. The weights don't match. Yeah, drawn on like personal knowledge of character, reputation, experiences, like all that kind of stuff, which I just think is really odd, you know, comparing it to like what we do now. Of course, people's ability to travel was really different back then too. Only worked 2 weeks. What an odd name. Here you go, buddy. Transit. Couple days. Looks good. think he's going to be our last one. Or second to last one. Yeah, we can maybe get a couple more. Expired. Wonder who else there is. Let's see here. Looks like everything's not in order. Your weight is different. I don't think we're getting paid for this guy anyways. Oops. Chords. For $200. Saved up. Really nice. Klechia cleans house. Tax its own. Round of disappearances blamed on faulty evidence. We get a visit from our boss. The Divisional Authority of East Dresden and operations will visit today. Maintain your best behavior. Hello? Ministry of Admission, recognition for sufficiency. Because I got 9 citations. That was actually the reason why I wanted to do a playthrough where I got nothing wrong, because I wanted to see what would happen if I got to this part and got no citations, nothing incorrect. I wanted to see what he would say, and I wanted to see what he would give me. He basically just says good job and gives you this plaque, and I think it says like Ministry of Admission recognition for perfection. Something like that. Are there no rule changes for today? No? You just keep doing what we've been doing, I guess. Maybe someone will come by and interrupt things. It's possible. Okay. I think we'll get into it then. Let's start the day. But yeah, like, I really like that second book on, like, passport history because of how it was divided, too. So, the first part is kind of, like, focused on technology. It tries to break down, like, a passport into its, like, component parts. So, like, the first chapter is on the document itself. You know, the nature of the document itself, the assembly of the document, kind of documents like the documents. It tells about like its transition from like a letter to the modern booklet kind of form. Visiting friends, 3 weeks. You have your passport? Of course you don't. Okay. I'm not gonna leave, I'll detain you. You Fools better not touch me, I will explode like wild tiger. This guy is gonna be... Yeah. Well, I guess we could detain someone to get a bonus. That's one way to look at it. Not you, though. Your passport's just expired, and that's not a crime. Or, your entry permit's expired, and that's not a crime. What else you got? Moving here, huh? Your names don't match. You have multiple names. Well, let's test that theory. Fingerprint you. See? No known aliases. Let's detain him. I think this is like my first intentional detainment. 8 or 9 days in. One of these clowns. Our agents are ready. Starting tomorrow, let them pass. How about... No. That is a invalid passport. Now that I think everyone's done talking to me, I can get back to talking about that book. But yeah, basically it goes, the first part goes through like all the different kinds of technologies in a passport, document, photographs, paper, bindings, you know, all that stuff. And I think that kind of stuff is cool just as like a technology historian, but I also think it's cool as like a communication device. One thing that this book brings up that I kind of wish it explored more and would be actually really appropriate and cool for a game like Papers, Please, is... So not only are the people who are using the passports unfamiliar with like how the document works and what it means for them, they're also just unfamiliar with like, well, the people reading those documents and like checking them are also unfamiliar with that kind of work. You said a full year and your thing said a month. Which I think is like interesting to think about, like how do people efficiently like how do people adjust to actually like working with these documents? Interesting is an interesting thought, and it's something that the book doesn't really cover too much. It goes into it in some detail, not a lot. Oh, there's probably like one letter off on that damn name. I wasn't gonna read that whole name. Do you know how many letters was in that name? Tons of letters were in that name. I'm not gonna read all of them. Come and live with your husband. Okay. There you go. There is a chapter of that kind of in the second part though that's expired. That's about like reading bodies and reading documents and passport control, which is a little bit about like how do you enforce the passport system, what did it look like, which I think that was the part that intrigued me the most, besides just the technology aspect. And again, they have like a really interesting anecdote at the beginning of the chapter about one of the Vanderbilts, I can't remember which one, who went to go get a passport, I believe, and he had to like he was planning on going abroad and had to get a passport, so he had to like explain to this, bureaucrat. I he had to explain to this bureaucrat like the color of his hair, the shape of his nose, and like his face. And he had to stand in front of like this desk and swear while on his travels that he would like be an upholding proper American citizen, like all this other shit. That like I think to some people is kind of like expected now. But like at the time, seeing someone as like wealthy and important as like a Vanderbilt, like having to go through all that seemed like humorous, and it was apparently humorous enough to like have like a big New York paper comment on it. Like by World War I, everyone had to have a passport if you were traveling abroad from the United States. Even Woodrow Wilson, the actual president, had one, which is new shit. Let's just take a nap. Okay, theft of Ministry of Admissions. Limited to facts, few items stolen. Okay. Antegria, domestic spying exposed. Whistleblower on the run. I think we're going to be dealing with, like, asylum seekers next. Yeah, I think we're dealing with... I think that's what we're going to have to deal with next. A break-in has compromised our document-stealing plates. Counterfeiters have begun forging documents. Oh, okay, so it's only at this point are they actually forging the document seals. I've been checking that forever, and I didn't even have to. Right. I just did extra work for myself. Ugh. Oh, I might turn on another light or two. Maybe grab a quick drink. Some more water. Yeah. I'll be right back. Alright, I've returned. Just took a quick bathroom break and grabbed myself some water. Let me turn on another light here. Phew. Let's turn off this. Yeah, I was just thinking, since like now that forgeries are now becoming a subject of discussion of this game, and I imagine we're probably going to get a forged document very soon, which is this one. See? We'll get another detaining. But yeah, I was reading about... Oh no. Oh no. Hello, my guy. Today is the day. Look at all good papers. Was not easy or cheap. Well, let's see here. Transit? I'm shocked. I'm shocked they are actually all okay. And they're not even forged. Congrats, Georgie. He got, like, actually proper documents. A few weeks. We already have one detainment, so let's see if we can get maybe the bonus. There's definitely some gender politics you can read into this game, but, oh, hey. I detained 4 people. I just detained 4 people. Bonus is good. They pay okay. I got $5. Oh boy. This is why I left after mess. I give you the rest next time. As far as I know, I actually don't think that, like, the amount of people that you detain affects the storyline with him. As far as I know. Oh, I love those fast ones. The ones where they just, like, give you your passport, you just pick it up and stamp it and then pass it back. Good stuff. Oh my god. Whenever I get one of these worker ones. Yeah. Just dump them out in the paperwork on my desk. Yeah, it looks good though. Unless that entry permit was forged. Nah, we're good. Plan to work. Go away. Oh, hi there. Can't you just talk like a normal person? I'm gonna do whatever I want. Don't tell me not to deny your agents. I'm gonna deny your agents if I feel like it. Only for a couple of months. Have I ever had my in-game family get sick? Yes. When I first played this game back in like 2012, for the first time, it definitely happened. One of my families definitely got sick, but I don't think the game lasted long enough for them to die. But it definitely happened. I've also seen many people play this game over the years, and lots of people definitely struggle. Lots of family members get sick. Lots of family members sometimes die. I think a week ago I was on Twitch and I saw someone play this game. And, sure, let's just investigate. Why not? I saw someone play this game and they, no, he does have actual aliases. I don't know if this works, honestly. Stamping it with accept 50 times? No. I remember deny overwrites everything, I think. Oh, but apparently that was a good thing because I didn't get... What? Okay. Maybe the fingerprints didn't match. That was wild. I had no idea. But yeah, I definitely watched someone like a week ago who was playing this game. Family members were dying, people were sick, and they were broke. Like, they had no money. I think when they ended the stream, they were like exactly like at a zero balance. Which is, you know, pretty poor. Pretty broke. That was day 11. A strange man brought money, unchecked to burn it. Booth upgrade available, rule book shortcuts. Oh, it's from the terrorist cell. I'm probably gonna burn it. Because I already have $300. I'm sitting pretty. I've also seen what happens if you don't burn it in previous playthroughs. If you don't burn it, the government figures out that you're getting, you know, dirty money and they confiscate it. And I think they punish you for it. The game doesn't end. I just think that they end up taking more of your money. The history of Arstotzka in pictures and words, mostly words. Oh, jeez. Hello? Good morning. I have a few questions for you. Special investigator. Have you seen anything like this? Is some kind of symbol for group? So what happens if you actually do give him these documents? He arrests you and the game's over. So it's not good. Don't give him the documents. Definitely not. Definitely don't do that. Let's see, just visiting? Well, why do you have a worker's permit if you're just visiting? But yeah, I think I was talking about like fabricated illegal documents, like passports. And I think it's interesting, like, I was reading about how, like, in the early 20th century, people would forge, you know, American documents as well. But they'd also have occasionally, this all looks good, they would occasionally have, you're looking for engineers, do me a favor, give my card to any engineers you meet, I come back in a few days, pay you 5 credits for each engineer that calls. Okay, I guess we're just gonna do free advertisement for that man. I suppose. You need an entry permit. But yeah, so they would use legitimate documents sometimes, like birth certificates, and they would use forged. Why even bother with black? You would occasionally use that kind of thing for find a better plaque. Looks like cheap shit. You're cheap shit. Yeah, they would occasionally use like supporting documents that were legitimate, in addition to using like fake passports, which is kind of, I guess, similar to like these people in game using like legitimate looking entry permits, but a fake passport, or vice versa. Oh, he's an engineer. There you go. I suppose so. Call them. I don't know if they're hiring. I guess they are. Guy just told me to give them to you. I guess if it helps people get a job, I can't complain. It's a nice thing to do. Guy's coming to work too. Only 2 months. Fine arts, not an engineer. Figures. But it all looks good. I remember when I first played this game, I was obsessed with having like multiple people crossing the top of the screen at like the same time. Oh crap. Well, another terrorist attack, it happens. It's a short day. Oh, here we go. A Class 7 apartment is available. Rent costs $30 and heat costs $10. So it's basically just an increase. Rent goes up. And a strange man brought money again. Uncheck to burn it. They brought more money too. Gonna burn it. And I'm also going to spend 100 of my dollars to move house. And sleep. Another bomber slips through. Immigrant screening fell short. Ministry of Missions goes to new director. Stricter protocols. Even stricter protocols. Oh boy. New director is unsatisfied. From today forward, all foreign entrants must present a recent identity supplement. Ugh. So a recent identity supplement has their weight, height, and appearance on it. Rulebook document has been updated. Oh, good. Another document. What time is it? I might go for like another half an hour or so. Oh yeah, I also bought an upgrade for the book, so I can flip through it faster. Which is pretty good. Yeah, I think let's start. Let's get into it. Another document means more shit to worry about. Oh, there we go. And this guy does have it. Browsing through for a couple of weeks. So this is it. It has another entry by date and pretty much everything else. Looks good though. This is where the game starts to get a little harder. I gotta pop my shoulder. Just visiting, staying a couple weeks. Okay, everything looks good. 194 centimeter height. Yeah, right. You wish. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's just telling me that I haven't detained anyone. Which is true. Hold for a diplomatic discussion. Wait, does he need an ID supplement? No, okay, because he's a diplomat. Okay. This is a spelling error. I'm trying to think if there's also been other histories besides the history of Passport that I've been doing. I lost my ID card. I think someone stole it from the locker room, but we won match. Can't wait to get home. Carried this for years. Maybe you take it. Oh, Aristot's arse kickers. Alright, yeah, sure. I can hang this on the wall? Yeah. Neat. I feel like that's a good example too of like what I was talking about earlier of like immigration, like crossing the border, using local knowledge and like word of mouth and like other identifiers. Uh, like I basically just took that guy at his word that he is who he says he is, and because he provided a banner for the sports team that he supposedly plays with, and he talked about like working at a stadium, like a locker room. Even though he didn't have the identification to verify it, I just believed him and let him in. I remember reading in the second book too, they also talked about that as well. Like people, like American border officials working on the Mexican border in like the early 20th century, basically just, oh my god, you're complaining a lot. Yeah, American border officials would have to like deal with migrant commuter. I just let you in. Don't say like it would just be better to spend money on a bribe. It would have been faster. It's a very East German mindset. But yeah, basically, like U.S. border officials had to deal with like migrant commuting Mexican laborers crossing the border for work, and they were required, by law to like check all their documents every single time. But most of them just like said, "Fuck it, that's too much work," and it slows everything down. So they would just like recognize them based off of memory and like their facial features, body features, and they would just let them in using their own knowledge and experience. Not to mention they were also understaffed and underfunded. That also contributes to a lot of that, I think. Usually does. What do we have here? Your weight is off. Let's see. Next one. I have no idea how you pronounce that. Your height is way off. I imagine they're giving me a lot of these ones where like people's height and other identifying features are wrong, so I can like get used to testing it. I'll be there for 12 weeks. That is not 1 month. Oh, I think we could probably squeeze in a few more people before the day's over. Man, with this ID supplement, it's just a mountain of papers that could get dumped on my desk. And there's still going to be more. This isn't all of them. Okay, do we finally have someone that we can let in? I feel like I've been denying a lot of people. Nope, he gets denied too. Alright, what about you? Can I let you in? There we go. One person let in at the end of the day. Excellent. No new upgrades. Criminal safe haven. Arsaska earns dubious reputation. Antegrian whistleblower denied asylum in Republia. I think now we're dealing with asylum seekers. So we do get another document thrown in. Let's see here. Nice. We still have tons and tons of these like engineering cards that we have to get rid of. Don't know if we're going to be able to. What we have here, Inspector, the Ministry of Justice has requested our support daily bulletins will now contain a listing of the top 3 most wanted criminals. Okay, so now we have to have this document out more often because there's going to be criminals that come by. And we got to match their faces. So this is, yeah, another thing to worry about. Yet another thing. We're probably just going to do this one more day and then wrap up. Probably one more day. Yeah, we'll do the one more day, and then I'll maybe send like a raid to someone else playing this game. I can always check to see who. Or if I have any other friends playing, send a raid. Basically, it's just whoever's watching will just get sent there. Let's see. Let me just close some things. Looks good. Looks good. Whew. I might get some food after this too. Okay, well, ooh. A little bit of an audio bug there, I think. Obviously, you're a criminal. I like how when you detain someone, the papers on the desk just fly away. What about you, buddy? You don't have all your documents, so I'm going to deny you. Okay, next person. Rena for Desto. Inaccurate date of birth. Definitely forged. Yeah. Oh my goodness, come to work. The 8 weeks, he has a mohawk. He does have a sweet mohawk. How long did he say? 8 weeks? Yeah, that sounds about right. Logan Mayhew. I mean, it all checks out to me. So many more documents I gotta check. Something like that. I think soon they eventually start combining these documents into one large, like, super document. Are you the same person? Yeah, you are. I think you can actually just deny criminals and it still counts as a success, but I'll detain them. Because it's easy to do. You just look at the pictures and match them. What the fuck? I made a small mistake. Please give me my documents back. This guy has 2 passports. I mean, you can travel, like, in the real world, you can travel with 2 passports, I'm pretty sure. You need a passport. Oh, of course. Emily, okay. Next person. You don't have all your documents. So, goodbye. So, tomorrow, I'm planning on streaming again. I'm planning on playing a game called The Oil Blue, which, if you don't know it, it's kind of like an arcade-style game, like an arcadey-style, like, clicky management sim, I guess, kind of like this game. This guy has just a giant bomb strapped to his back. Okay. And it's about basically just drilling oil off of like small islands in the ocean. It's like a really hectic style game where you're pointing, clicking, managing a whole bunch of machines. It's pretty fun. I plan to do that. While also talking about, like, history of energy and fuel. But more specifically, I'm kind of leaning to, like, talking about offshore drilling. Because I was actually able to find some pretty interesting history on, like, offshore drilling I could talk about. Let's see, I'm immigrating forever. Lots of other information here. Bobbed haircut. Everything else looks good. Chase Walicki. Interesting bit of trivia. I think actually Lucas Pope took viewer-submitted names that were randomly generated into these passport documents. So I guess you could technically have your name in Papers, Please. Somewhere. I'm sure they randomize first and last names, though, so that the combination gets changed. But I suppose it's technically... Oh my god, another person with a giant bomb strapped to their back. I didn't know there would be so many. Please tell me you don't have a giant bomb strapped to your back, too. I'm kind of taking it slow, and I'm actually just doing these, like, finding discrepancies and searching. Just for something different to do. She, of course, does have a giant bomb strapped to her back again. This guard better be happy, because he's getting a lot of detainments. I could be going much faster. Alright, what about you, buddy? Have a job here in sports, not engineering. Alright. Allendorf. Right. Cool. So besides playing Oil Blue tomorrow, I'm thinking about also playing something else for next weekend. If I don't finish... Well, I'm not going to be finishing Papers, Please today, so I'll probably try and finish it off maybe next week. Couple of weeks, bobbed haircut. Height's about right. And I think that's going to be the last one for today. Ah, she was like the last one criminal. I wasn't paying attention to it anymore. I don't think I get penalized for it, though. Ooh, booth upgrade. Double click for inspect. Oh, okay, so instead of hitting spacebar to inspect, you can just double left click. Probably do that. Breakthrough spinal surgery perfected. Only possible with Arstotzkan expertise. Okay, I'm probably gonna just end it there, though. For the night. I'm getting a little peckish. Take a drink. Oh, it's important to remember to hydrate. But yeah, next weekend I'm probably going to finish off Papers, Please, and then I'm also thinking about starting a new game, because the Oil Blue doesn't actually really have like an ending. Technically, I don't think it ever ends. So I was thinking about starting a new game next Sunday on my PlayStation, actually. I was thinking of playing something like Red Dead Redemption 2, and talking about like the history of Westerns or the Wild West, and maybe there's some other options too. Like I think I could play the BioShock games. I always like those. Those are good fun. I'm trying to think what else there is. I got a list somewhere, so I got like a lot of ideas I can pick from. And I think most of them work just fine too with a stream, which is good. So I'm looking forward to trying those. It was a good stream for 2.5 hours. I think this game is only like 4 hours long, so I think next Saturday we'll be able to wrap it up. Pretty easily. Probably well within the time frame I need. Yeah. Looks good. Let's just bring up my dashboard here, and I'll look for some people who are online. But it was good fun. I really enjoy this game. It's like I said, it's like one of my favorite indie games ever. And you know, I played it starting in 2012, and I still like going back to it. It's a real classic. If you never played it, um, you know, consider picking it up. It's like $10. It's the price of like a good sandwich, and you know, it has some replayability, definitely to it. Definitely to it. And one thing I kind of like about it too is at least when I was watching people stream it, uh, it's fun to see people like struggle and then play it and then do even better. You know, I got really intrigued to continue to play it as like a competitive. My competitive streak compelled me in a way. Um, but yeah, it'll also give you a chance, I think, too. Like if you play it, you'll probably end up seeing how actually like hard it is. Because I think I'm making it look easier than it actually is. Not to like toot my own horn. I've been playing this for a long time. That's the only reason why. Let's see here. Let's see who we can rate. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Oh. Let's see here. No one I know is streaming right now, so let's see if we can maybe find someone playing Papers, Please. This will also give you a good indicator of, you know, what it actually looks like to play the game. If you're not, you know, if you're more new to it than I am. Oh, okay. Looks like I found someone. Cool. So I'm gonna switch over to the stream ending screen. It's been good, everyone. Hope you all have a nice night. Hope you all enjoyed yourself. I'm going to be sending you over to Just Bumpy. Just Bumpy. And have a good time. He seems like a nice player. So, hope you all enjoy yourself.